Tonight we talk old school cyberpunk anime, we try some JDM alcoholic beverages, and stay tuned towards the end because we have a big announcement for Fan Fusion here in Phoenix. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Alcohol and Anime Night, everyone, and thank you very much for joining me once again. Tonight we're going to talk about an excellent old show called Parasite Dolls. But before we get to that, I wanted to check out this drink that was brought back all the way from Japan from my friend Kevin. Brought it for me. It is a Kirin blueberry style. I have to do the translation offline here. I'll try to do it, but I'm guessing based on what I can read that it looks like essentially the equivalent to like a Mike's Hard Lemonade over there. So let's give this a go. Come by. First of all, this just tastes like soda. This just tastes like a blueberry soda. It is apparently about a 5% alcohol, osake, which tells me that it is alcoholic. And yeah, it's very blueberry. It tastes like a blueberry soda. I really don't even taste any kind of a alcohol taste at all, which is scary. I don't know if you can also tell the can is really interesting. It has a texture on it, so maybe so that way it doesn't slip out of your hand as easy, but it actually makes kind of a cool pattern. So thank you to Kevin for bringing this all the way back from Japan for me. This is delightful, and he said these were his favorite when he was there, but he also brought me back some Strong Zero, which boy, that one brings back memories. So I'll have one of those a little bit later in the year, perhaps for a special occasion. But definitely check this one out if you happen to be in a local 7-Eleven in Japan. So inspired by the news that there is going to be a new Ghost in the Shell property coming our way in 2026, I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about a series that's a much lesser known in the cyberpunk anime genre. Parasite Dolls is a 3-part cyberpunk OVA that released in 2003. Now, I have heard it called an erotic thriller, and I really don't buy that. It actually doesn't make any sense. There are some adult themes certainly throughout it, but I would hardly call it an erotic thriller. Nonetheless, that is the genre that it falls under. The story is set in the same universe as the much more well-known Bubblegum Crisis. But it takes place afterwards, and it doesn't share any of the same directors. In fact, it's just kind of a standalone 3-part series, so you don't have to have seen Bubblegum Crisis to enjoy it, but you should anyway because it's great. There is clear influence from works at the time, such as Ghost in the Shell, but such is the nature of kind of any of the trends in media. Part 1 is entitled A Faint Voice and introduces what will be a pivotal element in the story. Lifelike androids, pejoratively called boomers. Insert your own joke there. We follow our story's protagonist, Lieutenant Basil Buzz Nickvest, and his android partner, Kimball, as they investigate a series of murders under the direction of their employer, Branch, a shadowy CIA-like organization. Part 2 is called Dreamer, and it flips the script a bit and has Buzz racing against the clock to stop a serial killer that's targeting androids. This is perhaps my favorite of the trilogy as it blends several horror and supernatural elements into Eve's story. The concept of how an android might perceive ghosts and the nature of being human is explored here in a really interesting and compelling way. Part 3, the finale of the trilogy, is called Knights of the Round Table. Here the story revolves around a terrorist plot tied to a boomer hate group, and the story takes a path to make the viewer empathize with the androids. And perhaps some of the most profound takeaways in this part of the story are how prejudices can be used by those in power to further their unrelated agendas, and how a man's own ideas can actually sometimes come back to haunt him. So I really recommend this one. It's a little hard to find. I've seen it on a few different places, and there was a limited disc release, but definitely one to check out. And it's a small time investment, especially if you're a fan of Bubblegum Crisis and you want to kind of expand on that world. It is really cool. It doesn't have any of the kind of mech suits or anything of that nature, but it is a little bit more, I hate to say, realistic, but a little bit more realistic in that it has just more of like the humanoid characters. Thank you for sticking around this far, and if you did make it this far, I always forget to ask for subscribers, and so I am going to ask today, if you liked what you saw, please hit subscribe. I'm going to try to do lots more new stuff. I'm going to try to head out to a few more events, and that leads me into the next part of what I'm going to talk about. First of all, if you don't know already, I will be heading out to the Anime Expo in July. I'm very excited. I'm only going to be able to probably head out for one day, even though I bought the full event pass. But I'm going to let everybody know what day I'm going to be there in case people want to hang out and grab a beer or whatever. I think it'll be pretty cool. The other event that's coming up, and it is a big one, it's the Phoenix Fan Fusion here in Arizona. And a few years back, actually a few years running, I've had the opportunity to host a few of the parties. We did a Chainsaw Man party, we did kind of a futuristic kind of cyberpunk feel. And this year, we're actually going to do a few parties, and so it's stepping up a little bit. It's a lot of fun, a lot of anticipation. So the first one is going to be a My Hero Academia prom, and that is really exciting. So get your costumes ready, get your prom versions of Froppy or your prom versions of Midoriya, whatever you got, bring them on out. And the other one that's going to be really big is we're calling it Animehem, a villainous after party, and this one's going to be very much an 18 and up event. So we are pushing the ecchi element really hard. We've got a couple of cool guests, some local guests that are pretty cool, and so we're going to be pushing that one pretty hard. So if you got an ID that says you're over 18, definitely come and join us over in the West Building for that one. So check their website, the Phoenix Fan Fusion website. There's going to be some updates coming soon, but you guys got to hear it here first. So thank you very much for joining me. As always, my name was Scott. Goodbye.